meet my bride. Let's go for a ride in my newfangled automobile. Just where we will go, nobody knows, but it's sure a great way to feel. Behind the wheel of the Speed Meter Steel, it's my newfangled automobile.
Hello and welcome to Vintage Car History. I'm Wild Bill. Us Americans are proud of the folks that really impacted the automotive industry worldwide. Henry Ford, Charles Kettering, Ransom Olds, and many others drove the industry forward, pun very much intended, in the first decade of the 20th century and beyond. Yet there is one American that also contributed to the world of cars, but is unfortunately almost forgotten today, though his imprint is on every modern car. So let's take a look at this forgotten American automotive hero, Walter Baker. He was born in Hinsdale, New Hampshire in 1868. His father, George, was an inventor and moved the family to Cleveland in 1871 to work with both the White Sewing Machine Company and the Cleveland Machine Screw Company. He was quite successful, and the family grew in both wealth and importance. Young Walter followed in his father's footsteps, becoming an engineer and inventor in his own right by the age of 23. But Walter was also, like his father, a keen businessman and wanted to start his own entrepreneurial ventures. He gathered some partners and in 1895 helped found the American Ball Bearing Company to provide, you guessed it, ball bearings for wagon wheels and bicycles. But with the arrival of Winton into Cleveland in 1896 and other companies soon after, he changed focus to provide more robust ball bearings for automotive use. And of course, he soon wanted to make cars himself. Baker noted that there were no companies making electric cars in Cleveland, despite the fact that the demand for them was there. So in 1898, he formed the Baker Electric Car Company and designed his own idea for the perfect car for American city streets. Production began the following year, and the Baker Electric proved to be a well-built, quiet, and reliable car. But the batteries of the time were big and heavy, which limited the effectiveness of his cars. So Walter took to inventing his own version of the car battery. Rather than what most electric cars of the time, which used batteries with some 40 or more power cells, Baker came up with a dry cell battery system with only 12 cells, half the size and weight, but could produce just as much power. His innovations in car battery design would continue in one form or another even to this day. The greatly improved power storage of his batteries allowed his cars to be more than just a battery on wheels with a seat on it. And thus, the Baker cars got bigger, faster, and more luxurious. A Baker electric car was as fast as a gas car, could carry just as many people and their luggage, and, unlike the competition, was very easy to start and operate. Within 4 years, Baker would be the largest manufacturer of electric vehicles anywhere in the world. Yet luxury wasn't the only thing on Walter's mind. Going fast was as well, yet racing and land speed record cars were not particularly safe for anyone involved. So in 1902, he came up with two innovations that are featured on just about all cars in the world today. He designed and built the Torpedo, an electric speed record car. Prior to this car, all cars were open-bodied, meaning the driver and passengers were to some extent exposed to the elements. His Torpedo was the first car ever built where the body of the car enclosed completely the occupants. With all of that metal protecting the driver and mechanic, it was deemed by Walter important to ensure that, in case of a crash, they would remain inside this steel body instead of being thrown from it, which, was the convention of the time. And so, he equipped the car with seat belts to ensure that they would remain in the car and be protected by the car's body instead of flying from their seats and hoping their own bodies will survive. And later that year on Staten Island, trying for the new land speed record, the car did crash and unfortunately 2 spectators were killed. But Baker, who was driving, and his mechanic survived with minor injuries. Despite this, the prestige of the Baker car grew and was perhaps best demonstrated in 1909 when the King of Siam Chulalongkorn, titled Rama V, ordered a custom Baker electric to be delivered to Bangkok. At the time, it was advertised by Baker, and probably correctly, as the most elegantly appointed automobile ever built in America. I mean, this car had the top, the fenders, and dashboard finished in calf leather, while the body and running boards were solid elephant ivory. Walter put it on display at his factory for a week before shipping it to His Majesty in Bangkok. Walter Baker was one, if not the, most important American inventors of American automotive safety. His invention of the seat belt has saved countless lives, yet he invented it along with the car that used the whole body of its construction to protect the occupants, which gave a good reason to keep them in the car. Both of these safety features found in all modern cars have developed since 1902, but it was Walter Baker that first built a car that gave us all good reason to buckle up. Thanks for watching Vintage Car History, and we'll see you next week. Peace.